Yo, 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 Muddy Waters Podcast, Underworld Series Part 2, Episode 5. It's your boy Shaq Sims, man, and I just want to say, man, I appreciate all y'all, man. Hopefully, everybody who's watching right now has watched all 4 episodes, and y'all are on the 5th one. You know, y'all niggas ain't got shit else to do anyway, so if you starting with this one, go back to Episode 1, man. But, I'm here right now with a very special guest, man.
What's up? What's up?
I'm here right now with Mike, man.
Yeah.
For those who don't know Mike, man, a couple of y'all probably do if y'all from around the way, but Mike is one of the most authentic, most genuine, humble.
Appreciate that, man.
And aggressive niggas you'll probably ever meet.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Shaq.
For sure, man.
Yeah, man.
And Mike's story, man, is one that's been told so many different times, but there wasn't an audience listening. It was just the family.
Right.
And his story is unique because he served, how much time did you serve? 15?
15 years, yeah.
You served 15 years, and what was it for?
In the feds for possession, drug and gun possession.
Yeah. 15 years for drug and gun possession, man. And yeah, man, he has some crazy stories, man, about just the streets, prison, and things of that nature, man.
Man.
Yeah. So we're gonna start from the beginning, Mike. Like, where are you from?
From Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
Brooklyn,
part?
New York. Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Okay.
Yeah, Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now, growing up, right? You grew up in the 80s,
70s, 80s, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, growing up, what did a young Mike aspire to do?
You know, Shaq, I would have to tell you, man, I didn't never really aspire to be in the streets.
For real?
You know, that wasn't initially something that I aspired to do. You know, I was pretty much a square kid, man, growing up. You know what I mean?
Find that hard to believe, man.
Yeah, man, I was a square kid. What I mean by that is like, you know, I went to school. I was a good student in school. You know, play sports. You know, the one thing that I would have, that if you just want to talk about aspiring to be something, when I was growing up, I aspired to be in the NBA. You know, I wanted to be a basketball player.
For real?
You know, yeah, man. You know, I wanted to be a basketball player, man. You know, I was pretty good at basketball. You know, I felt like, you know, I was playing with all the best, you know, holding my own. So I felt like, yeah, this is something I can do. Mm-hmm. You know, and the thing about my neighborhood, though, is it's one of those type of neighborhoods where even if you were square, you around so much on a daily basis, you know, on your way to school, coming from school, you know, where I lived at, man, was a major heroin corner, you know, my block. You know what I mean? There was plenty of heroin being sold. I walk up to the corner, I mean, for years, that was a big heroin, you know, corner.
Yeah.
So, you know, I saw a lot of things growing up, man, and, you know, even though I didn't want to get in the mix, like I wasn't initially getting into the streets, I was around it. It was on top of me.
You became a product of your environment.
Right, it was on top of me, you know. And I'ma say, man, you know, growing up poor, you know, I didn't have nothing. You know, it was 7 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
You know, I slept in the bed with 2 of my brothers. You know, it was rough, man. You know what I mean? But I was still, you know, like I said, man, I was a square, man. Like, I wasn't really a dude that really wanted to, per se, be in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, and things progressed, you know. As I'm getting older, I'm going to say around 12 or 13 was when I kind of veered off. You know, I started veering off. You know, it started, you know, I don't know about now, but like when I was growing up, selling drugs wasn't necessarily available to just any and everybody. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when I was coming up, man, you just couldn't just go and say, I'm going to go buy, you know, an ounce, so I'm gonna go buy me some bundles of dope, or like you couldn't really it wasn't accessible for a young guy. You really had to really like know somebody, and it was really like damn near, I'm gonna say, for me, and what I was, saw coming up, it was like a secret society. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't as accessible as it became, So my hustle was stealing. You know what I'm saying? My hustle was stealing.
Yeah.
Boosting was like my first hustle. Strong arm robbery. I'm gonna say I had two: strong arm robbery and boosting. Those were the two things that I chose to to get into. You know what I mean? And we kind of, growing up, when you a kid, when you do start doing wrong, you gravitate to things that you feel like you're pretty good at. And I felt like I was pretty good at stealing and putting somebody in the dope fiend, and my man dig his pockets, these are things that I was pretty good at for a kid. I was always big for my age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And where I come from, man, like, everybody can fight. You know what I mean? Like, fighting in those days was like how everybody's shooting everybody now. Back then, everybody was fighting.
Yeah.
So, coming from where I come from, man, busting somebody over their head was like the easiest thing in the world for me to do. So, that was what I gravitated to, Shaq. You know what I mean? Growing up as a kid, those were my first two hustles, and like I said, man, I was a square, man. I didn't really want to be in the streets, but it was like that despair got on top of me. That despair of just not having and wanting things, And I got turned out in them streets, man. You know what I'm saying? Where once I started having a few $100s, you know what I'm saying, and being able to go down to Delancey Street and get me some Pumas and Adidas, I was turned out. I was, that was it for me, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you were talking about, growing up, and you gravitated more towards strong arm robbery and
Right.
shit like that due to you being poor. And I remember earlier, before we started talking or whatever, you told me, you said growing up it was like good times. Like,
yeah.
That's how my household was. Like,
right.
Like, what would you say was the moment where you realized how you were living was different from other people? Because as a kid, all you know is what you know. So you feel like me sleeping in the bed with my two brothers is normal. It's 7 of us in a 2-bedroom. When did you find out that wasn't how other people were living, and that y'all were broke?
Shaq, back then, everybody was broke. You see, it's not like it is now, Shaq. Everybody got a few dollars now. Back then, everybody was poor. So, if you had some money, like you stood out having something, because everybody didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I knew we was poor, like I said, because we was like everybody else. I knew, when I would, like, you see how kids look in the refrigerator now. Like, I'm going to use my kids, for example. When my kids get up and come downstairs and they go look in that refrigerator, they not guessing that it's something in it.
They know.
They know it's something in it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, opening that refrigerator was like me rolling some dice. It could be something in it today. It could be, might not be nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? But it was more often nothing in it than it was something in it. You understand what I'm saying? So, we was getting food stamps, you know what I'm saying? We was on welfare, like, we was definitely poor. You understand what I'm saying? But we was that kind of poor, whereas, because we didn't have no money, we didn't let that define us per se. My parents was good at that. Like, yeah, we ain't got no money, but you still gonna get up every day and walk, get up out here and stick your chest out and hold your head up and talk like you got some sense. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we still got up every day, washed our face, combed out, and we still took pride in our appearance and all that. You know, we still felt like we was somebody. You know what I mean? And I really credit my parents for that. You know, for putting that battery in me, because you know that would turn out to be something that was very key for me moving forward in my life. You know, years like as the years progressed, from having that beginning, that point of reference, it played a key role in how I responded to certain things that would happen to me in my life. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, but I was definitely poor, Shaq. You know what I mean? I was you know, we definitely ate grilled cheese. We got the church from the cheese from the church around the corner that would hand out that welfare cheese. You know, we went to free lunch in the summertime. You know, like with no shame neither. 'Cause everybody was doing these things back then. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we was, you know, on this road alone.
Yeah, you was the only one.
Your next door neighbor, people that stayed on top of us, like it was a struggle for everybody.
So it was really like good time, like that everybody.
It was good times. It was just like that show, Good Times.
So
you know,
when you watched it, you related to it
closely.
closely.
Fully I related to that. But you know, like I said again, if you watch Good Times, they always portrayed themselves on the show, even though they were poor.
They had dignity.
They had dignity. You know,
had dignity.
That's why I say that was a perfect analogy to my family. Good Times.
Yeah.
You know, because my father was that type of dude. He was a James Evans type of dude.
Aggressive and
right.
had
you
pride
know,
and
right.
got up every day.
My mama was like Florence. You know what I mean? You
religious.
know, you know, religious. Just hard. You know, just staying down. You know, full steam ahead. No matter what come your way, you know, you gonna get back up and you gonna get right at it. Get right back at it. You know what I mean? You know, like, you know, hold your head up. You know, like you somebody. You know what I mean? So, like I said, she just gave us a certain sense of pride. You know, both parents. You know, my mother from North Carolina, my father from Mississippi. So you know, they just gave me that real Southern, you know, principles, morals, loyalty, you know, honor, respect. You know, like they instilled all that in me. You know, and like I said early on, man, you know, that was key for me. You know, I didn't realize it when I was a kid, but early on, from having that early in my life, it really, man, made a difference for me.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I credit that to me still being alive. You know, surviving the game, surviving the streets. You know, and had I not had those things instilled in me at such a young age, I don't know if I would have survived the streets. You know, so, but like I said, man, you know, I went to them streets, man, out of a sense of desperation, you know, despair, you know, just tired of not having, you know, tired of, you know, opening that refrigerator, man, and nothing being in there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and let me be honest and fair to the interview, right? Although my parents, my sister, we talk a lot of times. My sister calls my parents brilliant. She said they were really brilliant, you know, and you know, and I must agree with her. But I'm also say this because I got to tell a whole story. My parents was addicts. You know, they was you know, my mother was an alcoholic, and my father was, you know, he used heroin. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it sounds crazy, man, but even in their addiction, you know, they was excellent parents, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the reason I throw the addiction part in, and I'm tell you about that, is because that's what really made us, that's what the reason why we never really had too much. Because had they were not addicts, a lot of that money could have been spent on us. You know what I mean? You know, it could have put us in a better situation.
Yeah.
You know, we probably, if they would have been more on top of their game, as far as not using drugs, maybe they could have bought a brownstone instead of us being in that small apartment. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I just want to throw that in there, man, because I don't want nobody to think that we was just
slumming it,
poor for no reason.
Yeah.
No, my parents definitely, man, had some issues. You know what I mean, and that stalled our progress and our growth and development as a family. You understand what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Nonetheless, I swear I'm not using this as no excuse, no crutch or nothing, right? They were brilliant.
Yeah.
They did an excellent job in terms of raising us.
Yeah.
Despite all that, in terms of raising us, they did a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? They really put their hand on us. You know what I'm saying?
Was it love? It was at least love in the house.
Absolutely.
And that's really the most important thing, man. Now you talked about your parents being on drugs and stuff like that. Like, what did that do to you mentally? Because I'd imagine there was a lot of aggression built up.
Mm-hmm.
So strong arm robbery is an aggressive game.
Right.
That's some aggressive shit to put
Right.
a nigga in a chokehold. Like, I can't even imagine doing that to a nigga, but I haven't had your circumstances. But I can just imagine from your point of view, you probably had a lot of aggression built up. Like, what were some other ways you were getting your aggression out as a kid or as a teenager?
Let me touch on that strong arm robbery thing, right? And I understand. See, I understand you're from a different time than me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you looking at it as if I was an aggressive person.
But that's an aggressive game.
Yeah, it is.
That's aggressive.
It is.
Like, because you could have a bat, you could hit it,
and I've had those
running up on a nigga like,
and,
I'm this strong and I'm this aggressive to where I'm gonna take your shit with no pistol from you off of you. That's an aggressive game, man.
Let me give you. See, I gotta give you the whole thing, Shaq.
All right.
When we was kids, right, we would do certain things in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We'd do certain things in our neighborhood, right? And I lived in a predominantly, I'm gonna say, black neighborhood.
Of course.
So, in those days, not so much probably now in your era, but when I was growing up, we always had older guys in the neighborhood, giving us game on different things. We would go to the park, the older dudes would be out there, they'd sit us down, tell us different things. And, we always had guys we can go to kind of like run things through, this and that or whatever. And what they told, one thing I remember them telling me was this: man, instead of y'all robbing people in the neighborhood, why don't y'all go across that bridge? When the Brooklyn Bridge, they met, going into Manhattan. They said, man, go down there and rob them white folks, man. It'll be less resistance and you'll get you a few more dollars too. Exactly. A light bulb went off in my head. You know what I'm saying? So I went on that, So, like, I was never a huge believer in robbing them people in my neighborhood. Like, even when I would do it, I half-heartedly did it. Like, it never was really something I felt really too good about, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Being honest, I never really felt, it was always something tugging at me about that.
Because you knew they came from the same place you did.
Exactly. It's like, he's oppressed and he working with tools and fuse like I'm working with tools and fuse. I'm so it was never really something, I wholeheartedly embraced.
Facts. And that shows you had compassion. And that goes back to how you were raised.
Right.
Facts.
So when the older dudes gave me that revelation about going to Manhattan, and me going out there was I went with Manhattan like hamburgers go with French fries.
Stop.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
Like hamburgers go with French fries.
Stop it, man.
Manhattan was just like a newfound, playground for me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by me going out there and realizing the difference between putting a white guy in the headlock. It was like a total different thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, we always wanted to make things for ourselves easier. Like even as a kid, when we plotted and scheming, we was always saying, what's the easiest way to do it? That was always the top of our brain. Like, if we seen somebody that looked like they was going to be an easy Vic, we was on them. I mean, we was on them. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, we always chose, you know, and white people, and this is not a racist thing or nothing, but I want to talk about those times in terms of the white people from those times. White people in those days, they didn't give up no resistance. You rob 100 people, you might have got resistance from maybe 2. That's how easy it was robbing them white folks back then. You understand what I'm saying?
What would you look for? Like, what's the perfect?
We stand in front of them banks. We standing in front of the bank. We going in the bank. We looking around. Like, I mean, we stand in the bank. We watching, seeing who gonna get some money out the bank. We in front of check cashing places. You know, I mean, we going in stores.
Taking a motherfucker whole check as soon as they cash.
Yeah, I'm talking about, man, this is what we did. Ooh. This is what we did. You know, like we was serious, man, and we did this morning, noon, and night.
All right, so you hitting these licks. These are licks at this point.
At this age, these are beautiful licks.
This ain't even no.
We snatching. Oh yeah, and this back then was a big crime back then. Chain snatching. You know, we was snatching chains too. You know, we was snatching them chains, gold necklaces right off them white women necks. You know, we was snatching chains. You know, that was our thing too. We was chain snatchers, strong arm robbers, and we was boosters. You know, we boosted, like, we stole everything. Everything. We stole everything. You know, we came out the house, we went in Macy's, we stole socks, drawers, underwear, shirts, pants, everything. Like, that was a big thing back then, boosting.
Yeah.
You know, so that was one of our, you know, our things we did too, you know. And I get popped. At 13, I catch a case. I catch a juvenile case at 13. And I wound up getting probation for the case, you know. I wound up copping out and pleading to it because, you know, it was, you know, they got me. They caught me, you know. I had all the money, wallet, jewelry. I had all this stuff on me.
Was it a big lick?
It was a nice little lick because I had gold chains. I took his whole wallet, you know. It was going to be a good lick if I could have got away.
Now this lick right here, was it business as usual? Did it feel like a normal day at the office, or what did something feel off about it?
No. I think if I had to point to something, I don't usually run with that many dudes. You know, it was about maybe 5 of us. You know, a couple of dudes I can still remember, you know. One of the dudes was Mark. He was like 22 years old. You know,
what was he doing with y'all?
Yeah, he was an older dude. You know what I mean? He was an older dude. You know, and you know, he took us to this particular area in Manhattan. You know what I mean? The Village. I don't know if you're familiar with the Village.
I heard of it.
But it's like we're all, you know. I don't want to say the word because I know they funny when you got to word things. But I'm just gonna say that the LBGT community. This is they like little hub. This is their little corporate office. This is their little area where they be at, right? So
yeah.
So and that wasn't necessarily an area where, you know, I had been before. You know, I was more like Midtown. You know what I mean? This was downtown. You know, on the west side of Manhattan, like the lower west side of Manhattan. So well, other than just being with too many dudes, man, and going somewhere where I wasn't really familiar with, you know, but wasn't really nothing go bad with the actual robbery. It was just like, you know, I think being with that many dudes put a little bit more heat on us, you know, more heat on us, more, you know, it made us more, you know. Because I usually move like in two or three dudes. That's the most, 3 tops.
Yeah.
When I do something, you know, when I go out there, you know, like I'm really like a two-man, you know. We really got like a two-man. Me and my man La Son, we really, my man La Son or my man V. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's either one of them, you know what I mean? But we a two-man wrecking crew.
Yeah.
But that particular day, I grab up a couple of guys, man, my man Trevor, Trevor was 16, Mike was 14. I was the youngest one, but even though I was younger than them, I was, like, I'm not just saying this, but like this was a fact. I was the most battle tested, familiar with the terrain. Like I said, me and Manhattan, man, was like hamburgers and French fries. You know what I'm saying? So they hadn't really had the experience, right? They hadn't really had the experience that I had in Manhattan. You know what I mean? I was familiar with Manhattan like the back of my hand. So, I knew the terrain, I knew what to look out for, you know what I mean? So, but we get knocked, police catch all of us. And I catch that was my first case. That was my first juvenile case. And a couple of them dudes, man, they water broke. A couple of them dudes told on me. You know what I mean?
You said they water broke?
Yeah, they water broke, man. You know what I'm saying? A couple of them dudes told on me, man. You know what I mean? And that was an early experience of, of just seeing, man, how pressure bust pipes. You know what I mean? And I remember my father telling me something, man, I ain't never gonna forget, man. And he told me this actually before that even happened. He said, son, let me tell you something. I know you out there doing what you doing, This ain't what I want you to do, but I just want you to know what to expect from this. And he told me, he said, let me tell you something. You need to watch them dudes you run around with. He said, because pressure go through cast iron steel pipes. So you know what it'll do to a nigga ass. You know what I mean? He told me that, man. He said, pressure go through cast iron steel pipes. He said, so you know if it'll break a cast iron steel pipe, you know what it'll do to a nigga ass.
Yeah.
So, be careful. But him giving me that little game, man, I didn't take it as serious at the time that I wound up taking it. You know.
I went through some similar shit with my dad. Like he told me, like, niggas ain't your friends.
Yeah, man.
Was that a hard lesson though? Like, could you? Because at that age, even though you're doing street shit, you're still a kid. Yeah. Are you able to wrap your mind around that? Like once they told on you?
I mean, yeah. I wrap my mind around it enough not to fuck with them again. You understand what I'm saying?
Were you hurt?
I wouldn't say I was hurt. Because I'm going to be honest with you again, man. I always felt that they weren't, like I said, I was a solid dude, and I knew I was a solid dude early in life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I had a consciousness of, man, I'm a solid dude amongst my peers. You know what I mean? Like, you know how when you young and you gonna quite naturally size dudes up around you.
Facts.
And you gonna kind of like get a feel of like, what's this nigga about? And subconsciously, I knew that these dudes really wasn't as solid as me. You know what I mean? So I wrapped my mind around it enough to say, okay, I can't fuck with this nigga. I can't mess with this dude. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But I didn't wrap my mind around it enough to the point where I was like, man, I got to kill this nigga. You know what I mean? I got to kill this nigga, man. This nigga told on me. You understand what I'm saying? I just wrapped my mind around it at that point just to say, you know what, I'm not fucking with this nigga no more. This nigga ain't built for this shit. You understand what I'm saying? But moving down the line, like I said, man, from that age to about maybe 16, 17, was when I was into strong arming, you know.
Sticking niggas up.
No, I never used a gun. I never used a gun. Like a gun was not something that, you know, I wasn't a stick up kid. You know.
What was it? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, if I was in need like that in New York, because, I mean, technology now is different. You got cameras everywhere.
Right.
You got cell phones. So if I were you back then,
right,
I would have been robbing niggas. I'm not putting a nigga in the chokehold.
Right.
Because you never know. Like, a motherfucker might look soft, but he might know jujitsu or some shit. Like,
I'm going to.
I was definitely pulling out the hammer on the nigga and telling him to get that shit.
Shaq, this one thing I got you to understand. You said you was born in 1993?
Yeah.
All right, dig this, Shaq, right? Shaq, the world wasn't always so gun, you know, happy. You got to remember, these was times where everybody didn't have a gun. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
You know, and that era and that location where I was raised at,
mm-hmm.
this was like the norm, man. You know what I mean? Like, you just couldn't, back then it wasn't like coming right off your porch and getting into the drug game. Back then you were more or less going to be more of
a runner.
A hit that pavement to get some money type of dude.
Oh.
Like, you really had to be out there in the terrain. You know, like, you really had to go take some money, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't more like, you know, it was a different time, man. Like, you know, that was like a more, you had to be more hands-on with a lot of things, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, the gun part, you had dudes that was sticking up, but like I said, I deal with things that feel comfortable and come like putting your hands on somebody might not be comfortable for somebody else.
Yeah.
They might not feel that level of confidence. I always felt confident with that. You understand what I'm saying?
Fight?
Growing up, they got, okay, in my neighborhood, you either went to Bed-Stuy Boxing Association, which is on Sumner and Gates. You know, there was like, you know, 2 streets in my neighborhood. You either went there or you went to Crown Heights Boxing Association. You was either gonna go to one of them. You know what I mean? Boxing was, just like dudes play basketball, dudes box too. You know what I mean? Like, that was very common in those days. You know, boxing, and, you know, we boxed in the street. We went to the gym. You know, we boxed. Boxing was like, you know, like how dudes made,
like pick up basketball games now. Niggas
exactly. That's how dudes fought. You know, we would, you know, you fight him. Like, the older dudes in the neighborhood would be like the orchestrators, and you know, they would put these little boxing matches in the hood together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would box this dude. Somebody else would box this dude. You know, that was like something real common in my neighborhood. You know, everybody boxed. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I always felt like I had a knack for that. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like I had a knack. I was pretty strong for my age and my size. You know, I felt like I hit pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was always, like I said, I always did things that I felt confident about.
Okay.
I felt confident putting my hands on somebody. For some reason, that was like my comfort zone. You know, where somebody else might have wanted to grab a gun, I might have felt more comfortable using my hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, but that was just what I felt comfortable with doing. You know what I mean? So guns never really came into play for me. You know, guns never came into play for me. Now, when I started hustling, that was on a whim. You know, that was on like a whim. I'll never forget my man Gene. You know, me and Gene, you know, we would do a lot of, you know, I did a couple of stick-ups with him. You know, he was a stick-up kid.
Was he solid?
He was a solid dude, very solid. Very solid dude, very solid. Shout out to Gene, man. Gene Bishop, man. I hate to run his name, but he ain't gonna care, man. But solid dude, official dude.
Yeah.
I gotta give him all the props in the world, man. Solid dude, real official dude. But to go to show you, man, how let me tell you a story about me and Gene. Me and Gene go in this store one day.
Yeah.
You know, we done done a few stick-ups together. But we go in the store one day. And I'm the lookout on this particular, I'm the lookout guy, right? So, and Gene is real slim dude, real skinny dude. He might weigh, at the time, he might have weighed about 120 pounds. You know, Gene's slim.
And what age were y'all?
We was 20, around 19, 20.
Okay.
Around 19, 20. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a solid dude, you know. I'm doing push-ups, you know, every day. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a real stocky dude at this particular time.
Yeah.
And
You still stocky, Mike.
yeah, but you know what I mean, I'm young and stocky, you know what I mean? I'm hitting and holding, you know. I'm looking out. Now I'm expecting this dude to go in there and come right out. Like I'm expecting this to go off with no hitches. You know, I'm thinking he gonna go right in there. It's a female at the register too. So I'm thinking he gonna go in here, man, and pull out on her and get the money out the register and come right out of there.
Yeah.
As I'm looking down in there, she's throwing cans. She taking cans off the shelf, throwing cans at this dude, and he got a gun pointed at her. So, you know, I'm looking at this like, man, what is he gonna do? Because this is crazy. He got a gun pointed at this girl, and she, you know, she's bucking. You know, so I goes in there, man. You know, because I see he's struggling with this. He don't know what to do. He don't know if he should shoot her, jump behind the guy. Like I could tell he had a problem deciding what to do.
So there was a woman behind that, so he probably
you know,
yeah.
And you know, I could see where that kind of was like, you know, a situation, man, because I felt uncomfortable going in there, but I went in there and grabbed her up and held her. You know what I mean? I said, man, go ahead and go in the register. Go in the register. You know, I got to hold them, but that was our last little, you know, that was our last little thing. That didn't last long for me, man, because I didn't feel comfortable with that game. You know, pulling the gun out. You know, that's a real different type of game.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that wasn't my thing, but he was the person who introduced me to the drug game. You know.
And what drug was this at this time?
This was crack. Crack is in full steam ahead right now. Like right at that was like maybe the 86, the winter of 86. You know, crack is in high demand. Like, you know, crack is it at this time in New York. You know, if you selling crack, you're gonna become a billionaire at this time, you know. So he tells me, he said, look, man, you know, I'm going uptown. You know what I'm saying? In those days, you know, we wasn't, you know, he was really what can I say? He was really like a beginner. He really didn't know the game, but you know, he knew enough to know, man, we can get some money fucking with this.
He knew the streets.
He knew more about the game than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back then dudes was going uptown.
You like hustling, nigga, what's that?
Yeah.
Now you just gonna get $1,000.
Right. He knew more or less to go uptown to get some work.
Facts.
I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? That's how green I was to even trying to figure out where I was gonna get some work from. But he knew enough to know, look, if you go uptown, you know, we'll be able to get some weight. You know what I'm saying? I know a spot up there. I know some Dominicans up there. You know, we can get some work up there. Boom. So I took I had $300. Never forget, I had my last little $300. I said, look, man, what can I get for $300? He said, look, you can get a half ounce for that. He said, I guarantee you, we come back up, we cook that shit up and come back out here, we'll be able to get rid of all that shit. And just as he said it, that's how it happened. We went uptown, we got to work, we came back, we cooked it up. And this was around, maybe we got back to that spot on Henry Street about maybe 8 o'clock. PM. By maybe 4, 5 that next morning, we was on our way back uptown. Yeah.
How much money did you make?
I know I had at least about $1,500 in my pocket.
Fuck.
Yeah, I had about $1,500 in my pocket.
Shit.
Yeah, I had about $1,500 in my pocket. Excuse me.
No, you good.
Yeah, I had about $1,500 in my pocket, man. You know, and
Shit.
after that, man, it was no way I was going back to doing what I was doing. Like all those things that I was doing, I knew I wasn't going to do them again.
Hell no.
You nah.
Hell
Yeah.
nah.
So
Cause you, in all of this, you seem like you were pretty smart. So you probably knew that this robbery shit is not the most wise thing to be doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I had, like I said, Shaq, I had other hustles, man. Like I said, I jostled. That's pickpocketing. I was good at that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was extremely good at that.
Yeah.
That was one of my specialties. I was a professional pickpocket. Professional. That I cut that boosting loose, got into the pickpocketing thing real heavy, and like I said, man, just a lot of those hustles I did. Once I started selling drugs, I cut all them loose, man.
Shit, after getting $1,500 out $300, I would too.
Yeah, I cut all that loose, man. You know what I mean? And I started, we started hustling, man. We started selling drugs. Now, like I said, man, I was a dude, man, that I was in the street, but I wasn't necessarily just somebody, man, that really wanted to be in the street.
You had to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, even selling drugs, even though I sold crack or whatever, I didn't necessarily commit to that game initially. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
I didn't commit to it. Like, it was more like one of those things where, say I got $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I might go to Mississippi for 3 months. I might go to Chicago for a couple of months. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't.
You were just trying to live.
Yeah, like I wasn't necessarily trying to really be in the game like that. You know what I mean? I wasn't, at that age and at that time, I got the sense that the game will always be available to me. Like I knew that game would always be something that I could do. So I didn't have no vision, at the time. Like I didn't have a vision to say, you know what, I'm gonna stack me, man, 30,000 and buy me a brownstone. Or I'm gonna stack this and get into the real estate, Like I just felt like, anytime I needed some money, this game was gonna always be around for me.
As long as you got enough to re-up, you were good.
Yeah, I didn't take it serious initially. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was somebody, man, that even though, I ran the streets and I did all what I did, that wasn't necessarily something that I really wanted to do.
Right.
It was just a ends to a means. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
That was just, something I did. But I wasn't somebody that was really so embellished in being, in the streets.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like really necessarily no badge of honor for me.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it as like, this is a hell of a thing I'm doing right here. You know what I mean? It was just something I did out of the ends to a means. You know what I mean? But
what was the ends though? Like what was the
end? Having the finer things in life at that time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, having my own crib, dressing. These are the things at that age, in those times, these were things I wanted to do.
Well, no, when I say end, like, did you have an end goal? Because I know you, of course, back then, there weren't many examples of investors, people investing their money and turning it into, because with the internet, you can see a real estate investor come from the streets, sell drugs, and there's so many stories out there like that. But what I'm saying is, were you thinking like maybe college? Were you thinking maybe, starting a business or something like that? It was nothing.
Shaq, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I didn't have that vision back then, man.
Really?
My only vision was just, man, I'm going to the Gucci store. I'm gonna go get me some Gucci sneakers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go shopping. I'm gonna go get a Fila sweatsuit. I'm gonna stay fly. I'm gonna go get me some jewelry.
Yeah.
That was, I'm gonna go buy me a whip. You know, that was all I was thinking about, man.
Yeah.
At that time, that was, to be honest with you, that was all I was thinking about. You know, now years later, the vision would come into play. You know, but that would be years later. You know, I caught a case in '89 in Long Island. You know, and from that case, I copped out to 6 months, 5 years probation. Worst thing I could have did, man. Worst thing I could have did. That was a bad case. That was a bad case, and I really should have took the most time without that probation.
I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people say that.
Yeah, that was a bad decision at that time, man. You know what I mean? But I was really getting a whole lot of money. I was getting a whole lot of money at that time. You know what I mean? Still no vision. I was getting a whole lot of money, but no vision. You know, crazy. No vision. I'm not thinking for 1 minute to take this money and invest it. You know?
You didn't have any examples though.
Right. I had an example. You know, I had, God bless the day, I had a great example, man. A dude, a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine. You know, he was getting plenty of money too. He was getting a lot of money. He was actually a millionaire. He was a millionaire back then. You know, owned a lot of real estate. Yeah, excellent example. I mean, this dude would buy, he was into buying precious metals and shit back then. You know, he was very sharp dude, razor sharp dude. Same age as me, razor sharp dude.
He started out in the streets?
No, reason why we connected and because we were the same. We were the same type of dude. Where we were familiar with the streets.
Yeah.
And although he wasn't the same as far as like robbing and stealing and stuff like that, he was familiar with the streets. He was a sharp dude, but he was just like me. He was just a square. Like he was just a square dude going bad. You know what I'm saying? It really didn't want to go bad, but went bad out of this. We went bad for the same reasons. So
out of necessity.
Right. We got along very well. This was a great friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? And when he was getting plenty money. This dude was getting a lot of money back then, man, and had a lot of money, and got killed. By the time he got killed, I was already in Washington, D.C. But I don't want to get ahead of myself with the story. I'm still gonna give you some of that New York life. I'm in New York getting a lot of money, man, and
what you driving at this time?
At this time, I got a Mustang. I got a powder blue Mustang.
What year?
88.
And what year is this?
This is 89.
Shit.
This is 80. Yeah, this is 89.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is 89. This is 89. You know, this is 88, 89. Cause those 88, 89, and 90 were like my best years in New York. My best years in the game, period. In the drug game. 88, 89, and 90.
And what's the most money you working with at this time? In your pocket to your name. No, this ain't what you got to pay to re-up. This is what you got to your name in your pocket. Right.
At this time, I probably could go in my safe and count up maybe $80,000. You know, now that might not been no whole lot of money.
That's like $160,000 right now.
Right. That wasn't no whole lot of money, but
that's a lot.
It was a lot of money to have on deck.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of money to have, just be able to go put your hands on. You know what I'm saying? I say my safe fluctuated between $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm in the game. I'm definitely getting money. I'm in the game, but I'm not necessarily one of those dudes that's really swore into the game. Like if I put more time and more effort and more of my, you know, ambition into the game, I would have had a lot more money. But I didn't, you know, at the time, I was just complacent, comfortable, you know. I was all right with what I was doing.
That may have been a good thing, though.
Absolutely.
That may have been a good thing.
I was very comfortable, would be like a hell of a word to describe what I was back then. You know what I'm saying? I wish it was a stronger word, to, you know, more stronger than comfortable. But I was extremely complacent, man. Like I was really all right with where I was at in life at that point in time. You know
I can
what I mean?
imagine, man, because you coming from grilled cheese from the church,
Right.
So you got brand new car,
Right. Everybody in my family happy. I'm hitting my whole family. Everybody doing good. You know what I mean? I was extremely all right. That was 88 was a hell of a year. 88 was a hell of a year. But man, 89, 90, those are some good years too, man. But that was like I'm gonna say that was my pinnacle in New York.
okay.
That was like, as far as New York, as far as memories, as far as like good memories, those years right there were my best memories, man. As far as, being in New York, you know what I mean?
Were you partying and shit, popping bottles
Yeah.
of champagne?
All that,
What was your drink of choice like? Because I saw in Paid in Full, Rico, right? He was drinking a lot of champagne.
Right.
Were you drinking champagne and shit like that back
No,
then?
no, that wasn't my drink of choice. Champagne. I wasn't really a drinker. I wasn't really a drug user. Like I wasn't really a drinker. I wasn't really a drug user. You got to remember, I came from being an athlete. I came from being like really a good athlete. You know what I mean? Like I was really a good athlete. I think if I would have put my all into either boxing or basketball, I definitely would have been, I definitely would have been in the league. I could have been in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that go for Walls too.
Walls too?
Yeah, that go for Walls too. If Walls, because we played with all the best at those times. All the dudes that were so-called, this and that, we played with them.
Yeah.
We beat them. So yeah, Walls was definitely nice, man. He was nice. Walls was nice, but we definitely played with the best. We played on the same team with a lot of those dudes that went on, to get scholarships and had them names out there. We played with them dudes, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them dudes came from our neighborhood, But yeah, man, I didn't really use drugs, Shaq. I wasn't really a drug user, man. I wasn't, drugs never appealed to me. The most you might see me do is smoke some weed.
Yeah.
I wasn't a drinker. Like I said, I came from parents who was addicts, and
So you saw what that was like.
so that at an early age I knew that wasn't gonna be for me.
Facts.
By watching my parents, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew I wasn't never gonna be a alcoholic or, somebody's, using coke or dope or heroin. I knew that wasn't gonna be for me.
Yeah, we back, and Mike told me a lot of interesting things about New York, man, and I'm intrigued now because you brought up Harlem off
Right.
camera, right?
Right.
And that brings me back to Paid in Full. I hate to use that as a reference for everything, but that's really like the most accurate depiction of that time, I'd imagine, in that era.
Right.
And Cameron was talking about DC.
Right.
He was like, "We got to go to DC, baby. We got to go to DC." And I think
Right.
Rich didn't want to expand, and
Right.
Ace didn't want to expand.
Right.
You subsequently caught your case in DC.
Right.
So, what was it about DC that made you want to leave New York? Because you living good, you got everything you ever wanted.
Right.
What made you go to DC?
I had to leave New York. The police got on me. You know what I mean? So I didn't leave New York because necessarily I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? It was more like I was getting away from the police. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had a lady friend that was in DC. You know what I mean? She had a lot of family in DC. You know what I mean? And I went there to kind of like hide out from the police. You know what I mean? That was my initial reason for going to DC.
Okay.
Go down there to lay low, figure out my next move. Actually, before I went to DC, I went to Chicago first. You know what I mean? Because I got family in Chicago. I went to Chicago and wound up leaving Chicago against everything. It's funny how these women, man, I really, didn't want to leave Chicago.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like she actually came to Chicago to get me.
Okay.
She came to Chicago to get me, and we went back down to DC.
Word.
So now I'm in DC, and I mean, she had a lot of her family was really like some. I don't want to say they business, but they had influence in DC.
Okay.
You know, she come from a family that was
well-to-do.
yeah, and they had certain positions in DC, so it was really safe for me down there. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really secure down there where I was at. You know what I mean? I didn't have no reason to really, you know, to worry or nothing like that, right? But just like everybody got good family, they got those bad family, the bad side too. You know, you might have the cousins who live down in the hood or whatever, but they was one of those type of families like that. Like they had the family that stayed out in the suburbs, you know, and where everything was quiet, you know what I mean, and cool. And then they had the family that stayed down in Southeast Washington D.C. You know what I'm saying? The people, you know, the family that, you know, get high. And so I'm hanging out with the family that the bad family. You know, I'm down in Southeast because, you know, naturally I'm from Brooklyn. I'm gonna gravitate to that. You know what I'm saying?
What's real?
Right. So, you know, one thing lead to another. You know, I'm staying down there now. Like I would just come down there and hang out and go back to the suburbs. But now I'm staying there. Like, you know, her auntie Brenda, God bless her dead, Brenda died. You know what I mean? But auntie gravitated to me. You know, her auntie took a liking to me. So now I got my own room. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm staying down there. So I'm hanging out in that little hood, right? And you know, you're gonna meet people. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how the game go. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna meet people wherever you go. And
are you hustling any?
No, not hustling. I'm not doing nothing. You know, I'm living off that broad that I told you that I went, you know, I'm getting my little, you know, money and shit from her. You know what I mean? So yeah. So now it's not like I can't get in the game.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, I'm you know, this is a new environment for me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. Only people I know is who Brenda introduced me to. You know what I'm saying? Her auntie Brenda, she introduced me to different people. She introduces me to this lady named Sylvania. You know what I'm saying? Sylvania like a cougar. You know, I'm young, you know. I'm at the time, you know, I'm handsome, you know, I'm doing my thing, you know what I mean? So, you know, she put her shoes on. So, you know, me and Sylvania, you know, we start, you know, hitting it off. You know what I'm saying? We start doing our little thing. So her family is a real drug, you know, they in the game. You know, her family is in the game heavy.
Sylvania.
Right, Sylvania. Her family, they down there. She got sons that's, you know, these niggas in the street. They heavy. They heavy in the streets. So I meet her sons. You know, one night, man, I'm hanging out, whatever, with her, man. I meet her son. They need some work. You know, they ask me, do I know I got any connects? You know what I'm saying, in New York or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They need to connect. They fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They got money, but they can't get no work.
Yeah.
You know, boom. And that was kind of like
your way in.
My way in.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like put me, you know, in a position to get some money down there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I took them up to New York, you know, put them, you know, in pocket, you know what I'm saying? And the rest is history, you know what I'm saying? You know, I started getting money down there. I wasn't getting money with them, but you know, I was doing my little thing. You know, as like DC, the type of city, man. It's not a city for somebody to really. It's not a city where you would go down there and say, "Yo, I'm gonna set up shop down here." It's not that kind of place.
You got to get in where you fit in down there.
It's not even to get in where you fit in. Them niggas down there gonna kill you. It's not a out of towner friendly place. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not out of towner friendly. Like, for them niggas down there to fuck with you, they really gotta put a hell of a stamp on you if you're not from down there. Like, a motherfucker really gotta feel like, you know, they wanna fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't no place, man, more or less where, you know, you gonna go to and just set up shop. And it ain't gonna be no problems. Yeah, it's gonna be problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a out of towner friendly place. You know what I mean? But that was my little, you know, that was my little way in. Like you said, you know. And you know, I wasn't really initially I wasn't really, you know, again, man, you know, I wasn't really trying to really get no real money down there, you know. Cause again, I'm like on the run, really. I'm on the run.
And when you say you were on the run, what were you on the run for?
You know, I don't want to say what I was on the run for, but I was on the run, man. You know, I don't want to divulge that information, Shaq. You know,
got you.
But I was on the run, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was on the run, man. You know, and you know, later on, the police would catch me. You know, and I would have to address that situation that I was on the run for. But yeah, I was on the run, and you know, I wasn't really trying to really get no. Like I said, I was just really trying to get. At that point, I was just really trying to get money, man. To stay clean. Mm-hmm. You know, to get a car, to get around. Mm-hmm. You know,
bare necessity.
Right. That was in 1990, like the winter. It was the fall of 90. It was the fall of 1990.
Okay.
You know, and I actually got there the fall of 1990. That's when I touched down in DC, and you know, started getting a little money, man. You know, and as the years went on, as time went on, man, you know, I wanted to meet other people down there, you know, and you know, then I started kind of like, you know, getting some real money, I'm gonna say, you know, I started getting some real money down there, you know, and it was just a hell of a town, man. You know what I mean? Hell of a town, man. I love DC, man. DC is a real, at that time, DC is a real gangster town, man. Yeah. You know, DC is a real gangster's town, man. You know, DC is a real gangster's town. I really had a real good time down there, man. You know,
Because it was a gangster town?
Yeah.
You was surrounded by like-minded niggas.
Yeah, DC is just a place, man, where if you a street nigga, you gonna love DC, man. Like if you a real street nigga, you will love DC. Is that type of place, man. And I'm not talking about the Capitol building. I'm talking about like the hoods of DC. Yeah. You know, it's a real good town, man. You know what I'm saying? Just in general, DC is a hell of a town. Just in general, it's a good spot. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah. So I'm down there getting money, man. And
did you ever? Sorry to interrupt. Did you ever run into Rayful Edmonds?
Never. He was on a whole nother side of town than me. I was predominantly on the southeast side of town. Okay. You know what I mean? I was predominantly on the southeast side. Like everything I did was in southeast. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, I lived in southeast. I hustled in southeast. Everybody I fucked with was in southeast. You know what I mean? I really didn't fuck with I had a couple of bras in northwest I used to fuck with on the side or whatever. You know, I used to go up Georgia Avenue. You know, I had a couple of bras stay way up Georgia Avenue I used to fuck with. You know what I mean? You know, but other than that, man, you know, Southeast was pretty much where I stayed. You know what I'm saying? You know, I shopped at all the malls, Pentagon City, Iverson Mall, you know, Tyson's Corner. You know, I went anywhere that was some fly shit in the shop. You know, I've been there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Georgetown, you know, like I did DC to the max. Yeah. You know, so, you know, but other than shopping and kind of like hanging out in certain places, man, I stayed pretty much in Southeast because everything I wanted and needed was right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everything I wanted and needed was right there. So I really didn't get around DC, but yeah, Rayful Edmonds, he was in a whole nother side. I think he was in Northeast. You know, Montana, you know, Trinidad, you know, Brentwood, you know, I think he was in that area. You know what I mean? You know, that was a whole nother section. You know what I mean? You know, it's. I'm not gonna say it don't happen, cause I'm not really like I'm not born and raised in DC. Yeah. So I can't really stamp what I'm about to say. Like this could be something. This might not be true what I'm about to say. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna say from my estimation, like from what I saw when I was in DC, it's rare you're gonna see somebody from Northwest come out to Southeast. Just like you may not see a dude from Southeast go out to Northwest or Northeast. You know, everybody pretty much stay in they section. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Right, like New York, you might see a nigga from Brooklyn. I'm not gonna say the Bronx, but you may see a nigga from Brooklyn out in Queens somewhere getting some money.
Yeah.
Or you may see a dude from Brooklyn going out to Long Island, or you know, you may see somebody from Harlem getting some money. You know, maybe in the Bronx somewhere. You know, like you may see certain things like that in New York. They pretty much stay where they at in DC. Like, you know, niggas pretty much, if you from Southeast, that's pretty much where you gonna be at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know.
Now what's your mindset at this time? Like, are you nervous about the warrants that you have? Like, are the police a main concern, or is it like I'm in a whole new city?
I'm not thinking anything about the police. You know, at this point, I'm not thinking. New York is the last thing on my mind. You know what I'm saying? You know, New York is the last thing on my mind. You know, I'm having it my filthy way. You know, 90, 91, 92. I mean, I'm having it my way. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm just having fun. I'm not thinking about New York or nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do go to New York every now and again. I creep up there. I'm going to New York. You know, at this time, you know, I got a little broad in Brooklyn I'm fucking with. You know what I mean? And I'm going up there every now and again. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, she flying down to DC to see me. But every now and again, I go up there to fuck with her. You know what I mean? And, you know, but I have no intentions of ever going back to New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, to live, like after living in DC, I could never see myself living in New York again. You know, this, you know, like DC was just like, to me, you know, I can't imagine, you know, choosing, you know, New York over DC. Like, DC is a hell of a town.
You a DC dude, man. You got the New Balances on.
Yeah, DC, like I said, man, DC, you know, coming from New York and going somewhere like DC, it's like you're going to fall in love with DC because it's just like, it's a hell of a town, man. You know, it's Chocolate City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's Chocolate City, man. I'm talking about, man, you know, it's just a live city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a black city. You know, it's everything there favors a black dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, everything, they got a black mayor. This nigga smoking crack.
That's the embodiment of DC at that time.
Right. Like this Marion Barry, you know, he's smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? Like DC is just a hell of a town. Like I said, it's a gangster town. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like it fits me like a glove. And
it went together like hamburgers and fries.
Right, hamburgers and french fries. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, so man, you know, I'm doing my thing down there, man. You know what I mean? And I wound up I'm going to speed it up to when I caught my Fed case, you know, because I caught a case down there before I actually caught my Fed case, you know what I'm saying? But it was a state case, but I beat it, you know what I'm saying? It was another drug case, you know, but I wound up beating it, you know what I mean?
They didn't try to extradite you back to New York?
No, I got up out of there. I got up out of there before you know, they threw the case out. Like, I mean, they wasn't even looking for me. DC wasn't even looking for me. Like, they threw that case all the way out and let me out, and I was good. You know, like I beat that case.
Were you thinking like it was over?
Yeah, I thought it was over when they snatched me up. When they snatched me up for that bullshit, I thought it was over. I thought they was gonna hold me. The warrant was gonna come back, and I was gonna get extradited to New York. You know, but I wound up getting up out of there, man, and I ain't think twice about that shit. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't, you know, the police ride past me every day down to DC after that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have no problems out of them motherfuckers, but. Let me speed it up to the day I caught my case. I was in New York. I'm in New York. Now, I don't know the feds got an indictment on a couple of niggas I'm around. The couple of niggas I'm around got an indictment on them. The feds is looking for these niggas.
Niggas in DC.
Yeah, but I don't know. You know, I don't know the feds looking for these niggas at the time. So I'm in New York. The feds not looking for me. You know what I'm saying? They not looking for me now. The feds don't even know me. They don't even know who I am. The feds not looking for me in no kind of way. They looking for these two niggas. These niggas done sold the DEA agents some drugs. These two particular niggas, right? I'm in an apartment that they sold. I happen to be in an apartment that they sold the drugs to the police out of.
Okay.
I'm sitting in this apartment.
And these are DC niggas.
One of them was from New York and one of them was from DC. You know what I mean? But they was like frickin' frat, basically. You know how sometimes two of the same type of niggas get together, and it's like they promote all the dumb shit that they went together. You know what I mean? You know, that was one of my mistakes too, by the way. Really leaving these two niggas around each other, you know, and because I knew they was two of the same type of dudes, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, and I know together they was gonna do a lot of dumb shit. You know. But anyway, right? They sold the DEA niggas some drugs, right? And when they came to execute the warrant, I'm sitting in this apartment. You know, I happen to be the nigga sitting. I'm sitting in there with another DC nigga named Blue. Me and him up in there. And they knock on the door first. We got a warrant, you know what I'm saying? U.S. Marshals, you know, boom, 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 right? I said, who's the warrant for? You know? They said, open the door. You know, we don't have to tell you what it's for. Open the door down. We don't want to knock the door down, but if you don't open the door, we gonna kick it down. You know what I mean? I said, well, I'm not open. I couldn't even get the rest of that out. When I got to that, the door was coming off the motherfucking hinges. You know what I'm saying? You know, so they come on up in there, right? Yeah, they in there. So, you know, next thing I got about 4 or 5 motherfuckers, you know, sitting on top of me, you know, knees in my motherfucking chest, some guns on me. So they said we looking for George, we looking for George Jones, and we looking for Saint. Said we looking for George Jones and Saint. So I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know no George Jones. I don't know no Saint. You know what I mean? They said, well, you sure that you want that to be your story? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I don't know who the fuck you talking about. You know what I'm saying? I don't live here. I'm telling them, I don't live here. This is not my, you know, my name not on the motherfucking lease. I don't live here. You know what I mean? One thing I didn't recognize, one thing out of all that talking I was doing, that's the first motherfucking mistake I really made was I started explaining too much shit to them. Yeah. I should have just shut the fuck up. Yeah. I shouldn't have said nothing. I shouldn't have said I didn't know nobody. I shouldn't have said none of that shit. When they kicked that motherfucking door, I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have just shut the fuck up. You know, just been quiet. But anyway, I'm thinking what I'm saying is good. This shit, none of the shit I was saying was really good for me to be saying. But anyway, they tell me, they say, they come out the room. They got the guns. They had a sawed-off shotgun, a 9mm, a bag of drugs, you know, a bag of paraphernalia. They put all this shit on the floor in front of me. So they tell me again, you sure you want this to be your story? You know, you don't know nobody? I said, man, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. That ain't none of that shit mine, right? That's what I tell them, right? So nigga said, all right, well, you know, I guess you all right with doing, because you going to do at least 10 years. That's what the nigga tell me. So I'm tripping. When he say that, I'm like, motherfucker, I like something, you know, because, you know, in my mind, I'm looking at what he got on. Right, first of all, but I'm looking at my mind. The shit he got on this floor in front of me, how the fuck can I get 10 years for this shit? Like, this is what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, I know I can't get no motherfucking 10 years for this. This shit might be 5 years at the most. Because in my mind, I'm calculating already. Like, I'm going to go in here and lay down for this little 5 years. This shit right here ain't nothing. You know, at the max, I'm thinking I could get 5 years. Yeah. Right? So I don't know nothing about the feds. I don't know about the guidelines. I don't know about none of that shit. Right? So, boom, they handcuff me. They take me and the nigga blew out. Right? So we down there. So they take us to I've been to the state, you know, shit before. But this shit, where they took me, I knew this was some other shit. Because it was nice and clean in this motherfucker. Like, it was clean. And I was the only motherfucker in there. Like, me and Blue was the only niggas in there. Like, this is unheard of. You go into a bullpen, and you and another motherfucker the only ones in there. Like, you know, I never been nowhere in a jail where the bullpen was empty. And it was clean.
Right.
It was spotless. Like, you know, the floors
They
was
had
clean.
glass doors and shit? Or
No, it was bars. It was
like
bars. So
okay.
I'm wondering what the fuck is going on. So come to find out, I'm in the U.S. federal building.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the federal court, right? So the dude blue, they takes him to another. They come get him and take him to a whole nother section. You know, then they come get me and they take me to another. So the only thing on my mind is getting on a motherfucking phone, right? They won't let me get on that phone. They won't let me get a call or nothing. I finally get on the phone the next day. I call the dude George Jones. I didn't know that was his government name. I didn't know his government name. I used to just call him by his street name. Street name was Diamond.
Yeah.
I called the nigga. I called Diamond. I called his house. The nigga Blue answered the phone. Yeah. The dude that I got locked up with.
I know.
He answered the phone. Yeah. That nigga answered the phone. Yup, fucked me up. You know what I mean? So he tell me, man, this is what he tell me. Oh man, they let me go. You know what I mean? You know, they said they ain't have no case on me. You know what I'm saying? They let me go. So now, you know, my wheels is turning. You know, I'm like, man, you know, they let this nigga go. You know, like what did this nigga tell him? Like immediately I'm thinking, this nigga done had to tell these people some real, you know, fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Because he know a lot of shit.
So automatically you assume he ratted. You wasn't buying
right. Like I already knew I'm fucked up. So now it's like I gotta really move fast because this dude really know a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That could really get me jammed up. You know. So my next call is to Shorty, the broad that I came down to the DC broad. Right.
She connected.
I call her.
Yeah.
And sent her to my other apartment, you know, because I had another apartment where, you know, that was really much my shit, where I really, you know, did all my shit at, right? And I had her go get to that joint, and I mean everything happened in like she got there and she left, and maybe like a minute after she left, the police pulled up. Yeah. That's how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your man, so you knew off rip this nigga told.
Yeah.
This nigga
was them niggas was trying to bury me, right? And I had a life sentence in that apartment. Like if the police would have got in that motherfucker, and the thing about that joint, my name was on the lease. You know, my name was on the lease. You know, that was where all my shit was at. You know, my paperwork, my driver's license. You know, everything was in that apartment. That could have
drugs.
Right, everything was there. You know what I'm saying? You know, and if they would have got in that motherfucker, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I would never came out of jail. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know. So that was very key that she was able to get there and get all that shit up out of there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they sure enough went in there. You know, they sure enough wound up going in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, thank God, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, she was able to go in there and get all that shit up out of there. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you know, I came in the feds, man. You know, I went to trial. You know, I went to trial on that case and blew trial on that case. And they gave me 235 months, man. You know, in the feds.
Now backtrack a little bit. What made you go to trial knowing that this nigga Blue told? And did Blue testify?
Blue didn't testify.
That's kind of sorry to interrupt. That's kind of hard because, you know, in the feds, usually they want you to testify when you tell.
He signed, he definitely was locked and loaded to testify. You know, he definitely was, you know, I had all the, you know, my lawyer got everything. You know, she had all the bullets that, you know, she told me everything they was trying to do, like what they was doing, who was cooperating, what was going on, you know what I mean? And she basically told me, she said, look, man, you know, it really hinges on, number one, if you can figure out a way to get this motherfucker not to testify.
Your lawyer told you this?
My lawyer told me this, yeah. And the jury. You know, she said it's based on, you know, how the jury feel. You know, how the jury gonna feel, you know, when they hear all of, you know, evidence against you, you know. And at the time, me not really being trial savvy, let me say it like that. I wasn't really trial savvy. Like, I hadn't been to trial before in none of my cases, you know. So I didn't understand the significance of really putting up a solid defense.
Because you have to kind of work with your lawyer.
Yeah.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what I was up against, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like, let me just say this to you. My indictment said Michael Johnson versus the United States of America. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it didn't say, you know, the state of New York, or, you know, it said the United States of America.
That shit blew your mind, right?
Right. I didn't, like, at the time, I didn't really understand what that meant, man. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I really understand what that meant. But after blowing trial and actually doing that time, I began to really understand, like, yo, I really was up against some real serious shit, and I didn't deal with it as such. You know what I mean?
How did you think it was gonna play out?
Man, I thought I had like a pretty good defense. You know, I thought, you know,
That is not your shit.
that it's not my shit. Like, I felt like I had a pretty good argument. Like, you know, like my fingerprints wasn't on nothing. And honestly, it wasn't my shit. Like, real talk, it wasn't my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, between me and you, that wasn't my shit.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and keep this in mind. I never sold none of you motherfuckers no drugs. Like, ain't none of y'all never could put me in no recording you got, no pictures, no nothing. Y'all never bought no drugs from me. I never was around when y'all bought drugs from nobody else. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just heard of me from this nigga Blue. This nigga Blue connected the dots for y'all. You know, he just connected the dots. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing that did fuck me up, and I didn't realize this till really later, after I played the tape back after the trial. Yeah, like, being from New York was bad. Being from New York was bad, but it wouldn't have been bad if I could have explained why I was in D.C.
To the feds.
To the feds. You understand what I'm saying? Like, back in those days, automatically, if you was from New York and you got jammed up down there, nigga, you was selling drugs. Like, that was just
The mindset.
common knowledge back then.
It goes back to paid in full.
Right. And I needed to find a way to change that. Like, if I could have changed, if I could have just said exactly what it was that I initially came down there for, that would have been a better argument than me not saying nothing.
You could have been like, you would have told the truth.
Yeah,
I was
like,
gonna run.
Exactly. That, I'm telling you, the jury, they would have rather something. They would have rather that than me not touching on that at all. Because at my trial, I never did that.
Right.
Like, when they got on the stand, when the feds got on the stand and said, they got something called the expert witness for the feds. You ever heard of that? Where he comes in and he just says all the incriminating shit for the person that's on trial. Mm-hmm. Like, he basically says, this is what he said. Well, in my expert, you know how they ask him, well, how long have you been working? How long have you been, you know,
doing what you do?
Right, I've been doing this for 20 years. You know, so automatically that makes him certified and qualified to make this type of assessment. He said, in my experience, when the New York guy comes down to, to DC, and they go to these areas, these drug infested areas, because they can bring their drugs down here from New York and get paid more for their drugs. Like this is the shit he's saying.
And in a sense, he was right.
Right. Right. No, he telling the truth, right?
Yeah. But so, that wasn't your case. You literally wasn't even on that.
I wasn't initially on that.
Your intentions of going to DC, you weren't on that.
Right.
But of course, as time progresses.
But I was supposed to tell a half a lie on the stand. I was supposed to get on the stand, and this is what I was supposed to say. Look, I know that, you know, New York got a bad rap for coming down here selling drugs, right? But that wasn't the reason I came down here for.
Yeah.
And I should have had her family get on there and say, no, he got in some trouble in New York, and we told him he can come down here.
Yep.
You know, this, you know, and we was gonna, you know, let him stay with us, stay out of trouble in New York, you know, and you know, that's why he's down here, and he doesn't stay over there. He just got, you know, mixed up around some bad people, but he wasn't involved in that, right?
That would have made more sense.
That's what I should have at least had, some type of defense like that.
Hindsight is 20/20.
I didn't have nothing to explain what the fuck I was doing.
The only thing you saying is that ain't my shit.
That's the only in my trial.
Can you explain this then?
That was and what I'm trying to tell you, that was my mistake.
Yeah.
That was me and my lawyer's mistake, because
Yeah.
even she didn't think of that. Like, I needed to explain to that, because I had an all black jury. Every one of my motherfucking jurors was black. You know, that's some unheard of shit.
Facts.
In New York.
Facts.
Down in DC, you can get an all black jury. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I'm gonna tell you something else I didn't understand. DC is like the one of them type of places though. You can still get found guilty with an all black jury down there, because everybody on your jury ain't necessarily gonna be, you know, from the street. Like, they might be black, but they might be on some real black Republican shit, some bougie shit. You know what I'm saying? So everybody ain't really necessarily, you know. And like I said, at that time, like, if you was from New York, like, for some reason, if you from New York, they ain't necessarily, you know, like, it's that, you know, like, it's something about a motherfucker coming from New York down there that them people really look at kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You know, not all of them, but a lot of them. You know what I mean? So I needed to be able to explain what was I doing down in DC.
Yeah. Like,
I needed to be able to, you know, convey that to the jurors so that they can kind of like get the understanding or impression, like, I didn't come down there to sell drugs. Because that was a very common thing back then for dudes from New York to go down there to sell drugs. You see what I'm saying? You know, so that was one of the things that really got me jammed up with the feds, man. You know what I mean? You know, when you know, I went in, you know, did that bid, man. You know what I mean? You know, it was a hell of a bid. You know, it was a hell of a bid. You know, but I'm glad that I was able to do it, man, and come out, you know, unscathed. You know what I mean? You know, come out, you know, and just, you know, come back out here in the world, man, and get right back into the, you know, the groove of things, you know. But yeah, man, you know, that was a hell of an experience, man. You know, I used to tell Walls, man, you know, you ain't really gonna experience being locked up when you in a comfort zone. You know, like, if you get locked up and say they send you somewhere in South Carolina and you may be an hour away from your family at the most, you know that you're gonna do a different type of bid.
Because you first of all, you're gonna be locked up with people you know. Your mama can come see you.
You see what I mean?
Every week.
It's a different type of bid. But when you locked up, man, and you in California, you know, and you in a maximum security penitentiary in California, you know, that's a different type of bid, man. You know, the feds got a hell of a, you know, the feds is a different type of, you know, animal, man. You know what I mean? Doing a federal bid is just different, man. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and you really gotta, you know, just, you know, get get your game face and your mind right on, man. Because you around a whole, you gonna find yourself, man, around a whole different type of, element, man. You know what I mean? You really get to see,
what you made of.
Yeah.
But you was battle tested.
Yeah.
Already from the streets.
But now I'm gonna say this though, now, right? Because I wasn't really a jailhouse dude. I wasn't really a jail. What I mean by that is like I didn't frequent getting locked up. Like I said, and I don't say this try to be too cocky. I don't want to say this to make it seem like I'm no hell of a dude, but like the crimes that I did, I was pretty good at. I was pretty good at what I did.
Yeah.
So chances of me getting caught was slim to none.
Yeah.
I was pretty good. I executed, that's one of the things, man, that I must say about myself. Like, when I was on the street, I executed things pretty well.
Yeah.
To stay the fuck out the penitentiary.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't no back and forth going to jail type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I wasn't that type of nigga. So, but with that said, that didn't mean I couldn't acclimate to a prison environment.
I mean, but your whole story you acclimated.
Yeah.
Literally, like every story, every stage of your life you acclimated, even from going from. Because I know people right now from Columbia, right, that couldn't last in Charlotte. And I'm not even talking about on the street level. I'm just talking about the change of pace, the change of economy, the change of the industry. Like, people couldn't adapt. Yeah. So, with that being said, it takes a hell of a person to adapt in any situation, whether it's moving to a new state, moving to a new city, moving to a new avenue of business. You went from strong arm robbery, boosting, to selling drugs, and you were good at both. And you managed to elude the law in all of those situations and be good at it. So, it doesn't surprise me that you were able to adapt.
Yeah.
You got to be a chameleon.
Yeah, you have to be, man. Like I pretty much will, and I feel can adapt to any environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Any environment, but there's some environments, that were pretty tough, man. You know what I'm saying?
What was the worst? What was the worst compound you were on?
The worst, I'm gonna say Long Park in California. I'm gonna say that California shit was the worst.
The feds move you around, right?
No, you in a penitentiary. You're not moving around, but like, what made California the worst was it was the most shit going on. It was the most shit going on, and it was a lot of lockdown. The day I got there, a Crip stabbed one of the police to death. The day I got there, a Crip stabbed a police to death.
Were you like coming to California?
I was in the hole.
Shook.
I was in the hole.
Were you shook coming to California, knowing that because what's the chances of you being locked up with a nigga?
I wouldn't use the word shook. I wouldn't use shook. I wouldn't use shook. Shook to me is in the same family as terrified. Like when you say somebody shook, that's like a hell of a thing to say to a
shook.
dude.
I mean,
you shook. Cause shook to me is the same as being terrified of something. And if you terrified of something, to me you shouldn't even come out your house if you terrified. So to me, I wouldn't say shook. The word I like to use is weary.
You was weary?
Weary. Because if you weary, you'll still do something if you weary. Like, you ever been weary of somebody but you still fought them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be a little wary of this nigga, but I'm still gonna fight him though.
Yeah.
I may even swing on this nigga first. Yeah. Being wary.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was weary of this nigga, so I felt like, man, let me swing on this nigga first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a little wary of this nigga. You know what I'm saying? I might kind of like bullshit around if it's a nigga I ain't really wary of, because I feel more confident. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a nigga I'm wary of, I'm gonna snuff this nigga first.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? So I like to use the word weary. I was weary going out there, because I knew all the stories I heard. I watched Boys in the Hood. You know, I watched all this shit. So, you know, I'm feeling like, damn, I'm getting ready to go be around these motherfucking gangbangers. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a bunch of them motherfuckers out here. You know? Now, imagine, I'm already a little wary. And when I get to the hole, you know, when you get there, they lock you down. They don't just let you out on the compound that same day. You know, they lock you down. You got to go to something called captain's review, where the captain comes see you. They sit you in a room and they ask you, yo, you ever told on somebody? You know, you fear for your life. You feel like you can go out here on the compound and population and be all right. You know, they give you like a little interview. So I had to wait for that. So they ain't let me right out.
You had the shortest interview out of everybody. Nope.
Right.
Send me out. You're not even letting them answer all the questions.
No, listen. Here's the funny part. This part right here is funny. You gonna be, because you got to go through something called transit in the feds.
Yeah.
So that means you got to go through Oklahoma City. You know, you got to go through transit. You might be in transit for about a month. You know what I'm saying? Or you might go to El Reno. That was the first holdover. That was the first one. That was before the joining Oklahoma City. You go through El Reno. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And man, going through the motherfucking holdovers, and then going to another hole, and then the compound that you coming from, you might have been in that motherfucking hole for about 3 months. So when you finally get a chance to be on the compound, them motherfuckers could tell you Godzilla out there. You still want to go out there, you know what I'm saying?
Be around people, you get commissary.
You just want to be able to be, you know, get some commissary, right? You know, get some fresh air, you know, you go outside, you know what I'm saying? So it don't matter who the fuck, what, like, I don't give a fuck what's going out there. Like, I need out of here. I need to get out that motherfucker, right? So that was my attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really didn't want to be at that jail, but I was still going on that compound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I get out there, you know, it's a funny thing, man, you know, life, man, and how shit work out. When I get out there, I'm wound up meeting a dude I was in DC jail with from California. This dude named Soup.
Yeah.
He's on the compound.
Is he gangbanging?
He's a gangbanger.
What
this is my man. We really was tight in DC jail. He was from California, I was from New York, so we kind of bonded on the straight for that. We was around a bunch of DC niggas. And it was shit every day. So, make a long story short, you know, he see me, you know what I'm saying? Yo, what's up? You know, woo, 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 woo. I get out there. No, when I finally do get on the compound, I meet him. I run into him. You know what I'm saying? So he giving me all the little, you know, the gangbang shit, the code of conduct, you know, where I can sit, where I can't sit. He telling me all the do's and don'ts, you know what I mean? You know, woo, 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 you know what I mean? So, boom. So, you know, that's kind of like my, that was kind of like my introduction into that, but that was a serious penitentiary, man. Like, that was a real penitentiary. That was my first introduction to like being in that wasn't my first, because I was in Lewisburg. Remember I told you I started in Lewisburg. Mm-hmm. That's in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. But that was like, but Lewisburg, even though there was a lot of shit going on there every day, niggas was dying, it was a comfort zone. Because we're on the East Coast, you know, I was familiar with all that shit that was going on, you know, but that gangbanging shit is like something different.
It's different, yeah.
You know, that's a different world, you know. So and you got to remember, everybody is beefing.
Blacks is beefing with Mexicans.
Blacks beefing with Mexicans. The Crips beefing with the Bloods. The blacks beefing with the whites. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's constant shit. You know what I'm saying? It's constant, you know, drama, tension,
turmoil.
It's constant shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you go in the mess hall, like you don't hear a whole lot of chitter chatter. You know, you don't hear a whole lot of chitter chatter, none of that shit. It's like a real serious environment. You know what I mean? And that was an eye opener for me. Like, everything was territorial. Like the handball courts, that was the Mexican shit. That was American Me's, that was they shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, some of the weight piles was the Crips, the Hoovers, you know, the 8-Tray gangsters, you know, had they shit. The Brims had they shit.
Yeah.
You know, the Bloods had they shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was sectioned off, and, you know, it was a different world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, man, I never forget the day they transferred me out of there, man. The day they transferred me out that motherfucker, you know what it felt like? It felt like I was going home.
Were you that on point every day? I'd imagine you have to be on point.
Every day. I'm gonna explain the environment to you. You know how motherfucker take off. You know how motherfucker this is serious, man. You know how motherfucker take off his pants at night and may sleep in his boxers?
Yeah.
I don't remember really sleeping in no boxers when I was there. Like I remember always having my pants on. Yeah.
Out of what was the reason that you did that? Was it because you were not afraid? Because I can't use the word afraid because I'm sure you weren't afraid of anything, but weary of everything. Having to fight, or would it be weary of somebody trying to take advantage?
Weary of you. All the above, because all the above was going on.
Niggas was getting taken advantage of in the feds?
Yeah.
Now, were you in an open dorm or were you in?
No, I was in a cell block.
And your cell block, your cellie, were y'all cool, or was it like somebody you still?
Yeah, we was all right. I had two cellies. I had a cellie from Philly and I had another cellie from New York. And I was cool with both of them.
Yeah.
I was cool with both of them cellies. But like I said, man,
you still never know.
It's not so much I'm worried about my cellie. I'm worrying about everything. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing shit happening. I'm seeing motherfuckers getting their face bust open. In the child hall in front of the warden. I'm seeing people getting butchered with no, like the nigga that's butchering them ain't trying to get away with it. Like he doing this and he don't give a fuck who's seeing him do it. That type of shit. I'm seeing all this. Like I'm seeing people get slaughtered. I'm hearing about motherfuckers went in the nigga's cell and killed him while he was asleep. Like, this is the type of shit that's going on in this joint.
How you sleeping? How's your sleep?
A lot of nights, man, I got my little ice pick wrapped around my wrist and I'm sleeping with it underneath my pillow like this. And I'm not really sleeping. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of more like resting. I'm kind of more like resting, man. It ain't really no sleeping in there. It's more like you gonna rest.
And how long were you in there for?
I was there for 22 months, I believe.
Shit.
I was there for about 22 months, man. I never forget when I left there, man. It felt like I was going home. Like for real, I remember that feeling.
Best sleep you ever got.
Yeah, like when they came to get me. My mama came out there to see me too, and she had that look on her face like, you need to get the fuck from out here as soon as possible. Like as soon as they motherfuckers tell you can leave from out here, yeah, you need to tell them motherfuckers to get you back on the East Coast. Because my mama felt the difference out there. My mama is a staunch New Yorker.
Yeah.
Like if it ain't New York, she ain't fucking with it, and she hate crackers. Like those are two things you gonna know about my mama when you meet her.
Yeah.
She loved the New York Knicks. You better not say nothing bad about the motherfucking Knicks. You better not say nothing about them Yankees. You better not talk about the Giants. None of that shit. Like she like all the teams in New York. She don't give a fuck what nobody say. Like she's a staunch New Yorker.
Yeah.
And she came out there to see me, man, and she said, this is a different world out here. She said, yeah, this is a different world out here. She said, these motherfuckers out here, she said, I could tell. This ain't nothing but Mexican and cracker shit out here. She said, this ain't nothing but mess. She said, I could tell. I don't know how a black person live out there. That's what she told me. She said, I don't know how you black and you live out here in this type of shit, but she's right. I'm telling you, that was my introduction to Mexican food. I ain't ate that much Mexican food never, but I hadn't ate that much Mexican before that, and I haven't ate that much Mexican since.
Like niggas in jail was making Mexican food?
Yeah, like Mexican shit is on the menu damn near every day.
What?
Yeah, because there's so many Mexicans out there. Like California, in that jail was a lot of Mexicans in there. But like I said, those Mexicans in California are different from the East Coast Mexicans.
Facts.
Like the Mexicans out there, like how their word you like to use aggressive. Like yeah, they got the aggressive Mexicans out there. You know, you got
them niggas aggressive.
Yeah, you got the aggressive Mexicans out there. Like the Mexicans out there, not like these East Coast Mexicans. You know, these niggas out here ain't trying to do nothing but cut some grass and, you know, and stay the fuck out the way.
Drink some beer and chill.
Right, drink some Coronas, some Modelo's, right, and stay all the way in their lane. Yeah, you know, I worked with them. I worked in the kitchen, and I worked in the vegetable prep room. You know, with a few of them. You know what I'm saying? I was the only black dude in there. It was like 3 of them and 1 of me. You know what I'm saying? And I was the number 1 in there. So basically, like, if you the number 1, you like the one who kind of like, I'm not gonna say run it, but you whoever's the officer that's run the kitchen, you like the dude he go to. And then you tell everybody else what he told you. So I'm like the go-between between him and them. You know what I'm saying?
Liaison.
So, and you know, one thing I'm gonna tell you. See me, I'm at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if you white, black, Mexican. When you run across somebody that's a real motherfucking criminal, like a real gangster, it's like automatically y'all gonna have a certain level of respect and understanding amongst yourself, because they gonna be able to see this nigga's really like, he on that same shit we on, you know, he on that same shit. So it was like that was our you know, like that was our thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
it went without saying.
Right. Like they knew, like I'm on the same shit y'all on. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, whatever y'all, like I ain't no motherfucking snitch. I don't give a fuck what y'all steal out this motherfucker. I'm stealing too. Steal as much as you can. I don't give a fuck what you do. Like they knew I was with all the bullshit. I'm with all the bullshit. Cause I had to kind of like when they needed sugar, cause they made wine. When they needed sugar and yeast and all that shit, I had to get it. Cause he wouldn't get it to them.
Did you sell it?
No, I gave it to him. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like I gave it to him. Like, you know, do y'all thing. Cause I'm doing my thing too. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna do our thing. Fuck it. Let's get this money. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really like one of them dudes who, you know, I'm just like y'all. I'm on the same shit y'all on. You know what I'm saying? And we used to be in that motherfucker, man, like that shit used to run like a fine oil machine. You know what I'm saying? I wound up getting into a fight with a nigga in the kitchen. You know, New York nigga. Yeah. New York nigga got into a fight with a nigga in the kitchen, but you know. But that West Coast shit, man, is that West Coast shit was something. That's probably the hardest. That was my hardest. You know, everything else was. I ain't gonna say everything else was gravy, but I mean that was kind of like the worst.
Of the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as niggas getting killed, you know, niggas getting stabbed to death. You know, motherfuckers killing the police. Like it was just a totally different type of environment out there.
Niggas
like,
was running rampant. It
was really jail. That was the. Lewisburg and Long Park was like the real, that was my most, as far as being really feeling like I'm fucked up and locked up and you know, this shit is serious. Those 2 spots.
Yeah.
Everywhere else I was at was kind of like, you know, melodramatic, I'm gonna say, you know.
Yeah, we back. Yeah, man. So Mike, when you left California or whatever, you know, you talked about that being like, feeling like you came home.
Right.
What was on your mind as far as your plans when you actually did come home while you were in the feds?
My plan was to, you know, just get on my feet, man. You know, I didn't really have just an outlined, definitive plan on what I was going to do specifically, you know? And my plan was just, man, one thing I did know, I wasn't going back to the penitentiary.
So drugs wasn't even an option?
No.
What about strong arming? Putting niggas
no, none of that. Like I said, I had been, you know, got out, of that, man. Putting people in the dope fiend and robbing people. I had been left that alone, man. I knew I wasn't going. Be involved in a life of crime. Like that was my plan. If I had to just say what my plan was to leave the streets alone. That was my plan. Like I didn't have a plan per se where I'm gonna start a business or what business I was gonna start and how I was gonna do it. I wasn't one of those guys in prison that did that. I was around a lot of people that would spend hours upon hours in the law library, putting business plans together and really sitting down and really putting a well organized, well written, well laid out, well researched, plan together. That was something that I just felt like it wasn't going to be necessary for me to do. I just felt like I was going to figure this out on the fly, which I did.
Right.
So when I got to New York, because I hadn't planned on going back to New York. It was funny how I wound up in New York. They came. Let me hit you from the very beginning. I was in a hole. I had a fight. I got into it with somebody on a compound, and I got into a fight with a dude, and they put me in a hole. Right, under investigation because police didn't see the fight or nothing. But bottom line, they knew I was the one who did that to dude.
Look at your arms, man.
Yeah, I beat dude up pretty bad. So, and the crazy...
You got to tell the story. You got to tell the story about how the fight happened.
I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you the story because, when I think about this story, I get upset sometimes telling this story. Sometimes I don't really like to tell this story because I get in my feelings telling this story. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you the story. I had a little partner.
Yeah.
My man Rashid. He from Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
My buddy, man, we used to sit down and play chess all day. We talk shit, play chess, talk shit, He was a cool little dude. He's my man. I fucked with Rashid, right? So, excuse me.
No, you good.
So, he like watching TV too, though.
Yeah.
He loves watching TV.
I already know what you want to see.
Man, this dude will sit there and watch TV all day, man.
Yeah.
So, I would tell him sometime, listen, man, I ain't with that TV shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't advise you to be in there in that TV because I see it's a few TV bullies. I see it's a few TV bullies in there. You know what I'm saying? I advise you to get all the way away from that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, that's why I don't be in there. Because I would hate to be sitting there watching something one day, and a dude come turn that TV. I said, I don't want to go through that. I said, I really don't, man. I said, if I go through something, let it be for something else. I do not want to get into it with nobody over that TV. So lo and behold, he comes outside one day. I'm on the rec yard. I'm doing some pull-ups, dips. I'm working out. I'm running the track. You know what I'm saying? So I might run a lap, and then next lap I'll stop at each station and do some pull-ups and dips. Run another lap, stop. That was my little routine. So he comes out there, man, that nigga Rob turned the TV, man, right? Rob was like the TV bully. Big dude, big old dude. He from Philly.
Yeah.
He from Philly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Always talking, that murder one shit. One of them dudes always, but I'm not paying this nigga no mind because, I don't, like, you're not going to, like, in my mind, you're not going to do nothing to me. You're not going to take nothing from me. You're not, I'm not in your path of travels. You know what I'm saying? But if you get in my way, I'm going to do something to you. This is my attitude. Like, but I'm not, like I ain't got no beef, or nothing like that. As long as you don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
This is my attitude with this nigga, right? So, and he got a couple of other, niggas in there that be in there with him. You know what I'm saying? Bolo type of niggas. So, I'm not, So, I'm not really, like I said, this is my daily routine.
Minding your business.
In the morning, I get up. I go make me a cup of coffee. I may go in the sports TV room. I may go in there. I'm either going to go in the sports TV room to watch ESPN, Sports Center, or I'm going to go in the other TV room where the white boys be at, where they watch the news. They watch CNN. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go either one of them because I know either one of them is nobody's fucking with them TVs. So that's why I'm gonna go either one of them. So I go sit down in one of them. One day I might watch the news. One day I might watch the sports center. It just depends on how I feel that morning. So anyway, I go in the sports TV room. You know, this particular morning, I go sit in there till lunchtime. I sit in there till about lunchtime. Lunchtime I go to work because I work the afternoon shift in the kitchen. I get off work. This nigga Rashid is waiting on me. He got the chessboard set up. Me and him gonna play chess till nighttime. We gonna sit there and talk shit until he gonna tell me about his kids, his baby mama. You know, he got baby mama drama. He gonna tell me about his baby mama and this, that, you know. So I sit there and talk that pimp shit to him. Boom. He loved talking that pimp shit too. So you know, we sit there. You know, this like my little recreation. You know, me and him. So this particular day, he comes out on the yard.
Now, before you say that, is he a punk?
No.
So
he's not really. I wouldn't put him in the punk category. He's not a punk. He's a little dude.
Yeah.
He's a little dude.
Yeah.
He might be about 5'2", kind of like stocky. He's not a punk. I wouldn't say he's a punk, but he's one of them type of dudes where he's not trained to go. He ain't trained to go, but he ain't no punk though. Motherfucker put their hands on him, he gonna get at him. He gonna do something. I really believe that in my heart. Like he ain't that type of coward in that where you just gonna smack him around. He just gonna go for it. Nah, he not that type of dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, yo man, he come out there. Yo man, that nigga Rob just turned the TV, man. So he
like he was his daddy.
Right. So he started telling me about this shit. Right. So I'm listening to him. Now I done heard this shit before. This the thing. I done heard him tell me about Rob turned the TV before, right? Now when Rob turns this motherfucking TV, nobody does what they supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like every time he turn, you got a few niggas get up, like, yo man, come on man, you know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody gonna do nothing to this nigga Rob.
What are you supposed to do in that situation? You supposed to swing on him off dick like?
You supposed to go get the sharpest motherfucking knife you can get your hands on and put it right through this nigga. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. By the penitentiary code. If you get disrespected by a motherfucker in that fashion, or really any fashion, you supposed to go get you a motherfucking knife and poke the shit out this nigga. Right? That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, Rashid is not going to do that. He's not going to do that. So I'm not going to do it because the nigga, I'm not watching the TV. So I don't have no beef with this nigga Rob. Like I'm not saying nothing to this nigga. I'm not mad at this nigga like, yo, do it how you do it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, when he comes out to the yard, right, another dude from New York comes out and he says the same thing. Because he was in there watching the same shit.
Yeah.
So he was a victim of the nigga turning TV too, right? I fucked with him too, right? Anyway, so as we walking around the track, I'm talking and the dude Shy, his name was Shy. Shy is saying, man, you always talking, you know, woo, 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 woo. You remember how the Hawk, remember the Hawk? He turned green. When something triggered him, that shit he said triggered me, man. Something he said he made it seem like if I was in there, the nigga would turn the TV if I was watching it too. Like some shit he said, man. That motherfucker said something. That motherfucker Shy said something. I just did like the Hawk. I started busting through my shirt, turning green. Like my motherfucking eyes turned red. I said, nigga, I tell you what. And this is exactly how it happened. I said, nigga, I tell you what. Go in there and tell that nigga Rob to meet me in his cell. Tell the nigga I said, yo, I need to holler at him. And I'm going to be in his cell.
What was your rationale like? Of course you mad, your ego is hurt by what Buddy said.
Right.
But how did you justify in your mind that you about to fight this nigga? Like, is it I'm defending Rashid and this nigga Shy?
No.
Or is it like...
It was some ego shit. It was to purely show these niggas how easy it is to deal with one of these type of niggas. It was my ego. My ego kicked in. Like, it was like he was challenging me to say, oh, nigga, you'll be, like, he didn't say it, but he was saying shit around it, like making it seem like, oh, I just be talking. Because, you know, let me tell you how life works. Until you put a demonstration down, everything you say is pretty much, that's all it is. You just talking. See, niggas need to see a demonstration. You know, they need to see your work. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear about it, they want to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how that shit go. So that's what I wanted to show him. I wanted to give this nigga a video. Like, I wanted to show, okay, nigga, you think I just be talking? I'm going to show you something. Boom. So when the nigga Rob come in his cell, now I'm sitting on this nigga bed. And I don't mean I'm sitting on this nigga bed in the middle. I'm sitting on the nigga pillow. I got my ass on this nigga pillow. That's how I'm sitting on this nigga bed. So when he come to his door, he see me, I get up. So I tell the nigga, I said, yo, sit down. I need to holler at you. I say it just like that. Yo, sit down. As soon as the nigga sat down, I bust him dead as shit. I got to commence on whooping this nigga ass. Because he was one of them niggas who felt so, like, it can't possibly happen to me. I got these niggas terrified. These niggas in here is shook of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he done smacked so many niggas around. He done did so much till he feeling like, you know, I wish one of these niggas would. So I used all that as my momentum. Yeah. Like, I used all that as my advantage.
Like, I'm gonna show you.
Right. Like, as soon as, because you don't believe that I could possibly be in here to harm you. You don't believe that I'm in your cell to harm you. You really believe I just came in here to talk to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was my, you know, I ended up beating him up pretty bad. You know what I mean?
For real?
Yeah, I beat him up pretty bad. So I was in that hole. When I was in that hole, I was in that hole for about a good 90 days. I believe I was in that hole for about 90 days. And while I was in that hole, they came out with a law that they was changing. So instead of me having to do 19 years and 7 months, I wound up having to do just 15. You know what I'm saying? See, if they didn't change that law, I would have had to do my whole time. You know, I would have had to do 19 years, 7 months. But when they changed that law, that brought me down on the guidelines 2 points. And I had already, at that point, when the time that I filed that motion, because I was in that hole when I filed that motion. By the time I filed that motion and got to Fort Dix, because I went from there to Fort Dix.
He's still in the hole.
No, I was on the compound in Fort Dix, but I went home from Fort Dix because that motion I had wound up winning.
What?
Yeah, they granted that motion.
How quick was that?
That was, maybe a year and a half, about a year and a half, something like that, maybe not even. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I wound up filing that motion, man, and yeah, they wound up knocking my time down. You know what I mean? I got that 2-point reduction, and they gave me immediate release.
What?
Yeah, they gave me immediate release. Yeah, I was on the rec yard and heard them call my name over the loudspeaker to report to the unit manager's office. Yeah, I remember that shit like it was yesterday. And when I walked through the door, she had a big old smile on her face. She said, I got some good news and I got some not so good news. What you want? Which news you want to hear first? So I said, shit, I want to hear the not so good news first. She said, well, the not so good news is you can't go home today. So when she said that, I already knew what the good news was. She said, you can't go home today. You know what I'm saying? She said, you can't go home till Monday. Then she told me, she said, yeah, the good news is they gave you immediate release, and we got to let you go immediately.
What?
But we can't let you go until Monday. Yeah. She said, you can't let, so it was Friday. Shit, I stayed up there from Friday till Monday. I can't remember getting too much sleep, man. You know, I couldn't even, you know, when I heard that shit, man, that shit just blew my mind. Immediate release. Yep. I filed a 32, I think it was 3205 or 3285, but that was like the motion, the statute of motion, you know. And yeah, man, you know, them people cut me loose, man. You know, I came home, but that's from it being an immediate release. That's how I wound up back in New York, because my actual release plans was to go back to Washington, D.C. That was my release plans, you know what I mean? But with immediate release, I had to just go somewhere. I had to give my address. So I gave him the address in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? And they cut me loose, man. And I went home, man. And you know, when I first came out in New York, man, you know, I knew that New York had changed, man. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was somewhere I couldn't, you know, adjust to really. I knew that I didn't want to be there, man.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that it was somewhere that you got to remember, I left New York full-fledged in 1990. So now I'm coming back out in 2008. You see what I'm saying? So from 1990 to 2008, it's kind of like a, you know, like I would go back to New York here and there, scarcely. But for me, from 1990 until I actually got locked up, I probably could count on, man, my two hands, you know, maybe 7 times, 8 times, like just to visit, you know. And I was from 90 to 93. You know, I might have been back there about 7 or 8 times in between those years. You know what I mean? I wasn't really a frequenter of New York. You know what I mean? And it changed, man. New York changed drastically, man. From the time I left to when I got out of jail, It was a whole different place. So, you know, when my cousin told me, man, she was living in Charlotte and to come check her out, I came down here, man, and as soon as I came down here, I knew I wasn't leaving.
For real?
Yeah, as soon as I got here. As soon as I got off that Greyhound, I said, yeah, this is me right here.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere. This is me. I can fuck with this. You know what I mean? You know, I knew, man, that this was a good spot. You know what I mean? And I've been here ever since. You know what I mean? You know.
How was it acclimating to society, you know, being free?
It was easy for me, man. You know, it was really easy for me. You know, I didn't have a hard time acclimating to the world and society after being locked up so long. You know, I got right out here and got right into this, man. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, you still gonna have some residual effects of being locked up. You know, some things, you know, you might have to shake off you over a matter of time. But for the most part, man, I left that shit in there.
You weren't taking showers in your boxes, was you?
No. Like I wasn't in my shower with shower shoes on or none of that shit. Nah. You know, I'm gonna tell you what I do. I'm gonna tell you what I do to this day. I'm not beyond and above eating a top ramen. You know, a top ramen noodle soup. Like I still eat those.
You like make setups, or you just eat the ramen?
I make a setup.
What? All right. What is in Mike's setup?
My setup is a top ramen, maybe 2.
What flavor?
Chili chicken. You know, it don't matter, cause I don't use the packets. I don't use those. If I do, I sprinkle a little bit and then I'm done with the packet.
Yeah.
Cause everything else I'm about to put in it is gonna be, you know, basically for the flavor. So I'm gonna cut up some onions, you know, some serrano peppers, you know. That's what's in my setup out here. I'm gonna do a street setup. You know, I might cut some garlic up in there, you know, and I freak it with a bag of boiler rice. You know, I throw a bag of rice in there with it and a mackerel. I fuck with one of them every now and then.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'm gonna do a soup. I'm gonna do a setup, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a setup every now and then. You know what I'm saying? They laugh at me, but you know, that's the only thing that I'm gonna say I carry with me out here to these streets. You know, from jail, man. I fuck with a setup every now and then, but for the most part, man, that institutionalized shit, man, I shook it at the door.
For real?
You know? Yeah. Cause see, some people say a lot of things institutionalized, right? It's some things I was doing that people do in jail before I even went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily feel like you institutionalized for doing certain things, because I was doing that shit on the street before I even went to jail.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I always sit in the back.
What you mean?
Like, I don't never sit, like when I go to the movies, I sit in the back.
Facts. Me too.
My back is on the wall. I was
me
doing
too.
that before I went to jail. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere I go, like I'm always putting myself in a strategic place there. I was doing this stuff before jail.
Church too? You doing that? If you go into church?
I mean, you know,
You put yourself in
like I said, it's habit. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's habit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny you said it because the church that I was going to down here, I always sat in the back of this church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was sitting in the back of this church because I want to be the first one out of there. That was the reason why I sat in the back of the church. Because when church service is over, like I want to be one of the first ones out of there. For some reason, whenever I go to church, I'm not, it's not because I don't want to be at church. It's for some reason, as soon as church is over, I just can't wait to get up out of there.
Me too.
I don't know why. But I'm not the only one. The funny thing is, I know a lot of people that feel the same way I feel. Like they believe in God, you know, they spiritual and everything. But for some reason, when they in church, they'll sit there and listen to the service. But as soon as it's over, like, man, I got to get up out of here.
They go for the service. A lot of people go for the service, but it's also the fellowship and the companionship.
Right.
And of course, you got your own friends and family, so that's not that important to you.
Nah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, man, you know, I don't have any institutionalized ways and nothing like that, man. You know, I acclimated immediately back into society, you know. As far as like, you know, getting a job and things of that nature, you know, I knew I was going to get a job, but at the end of the day, I also knew that I wanted to have something that I owned, you know, like my own business, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm big on doing things that come naturally to me. You know, I'm big on that. Like that's a way I've always been my whole life. Like I believe in being very organic and being very natural, you know. So whatever feels like it's right to me, that's typically what I go with. If it feels right to me, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? And that moving thing felt right to me, man. It just felt like something I had a knack for. You know, I like to do it. You know, I like dealing with the customers. You know. It just fit me for some reason, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and you know, it's just the whole dynamic of it. It's for some reason, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what led me into that. I started my own moving company. You know what I mean? That's what led me to that. But like I said, man, you know, I didn't have no plan, man. My plan was just never not to go back to that penitentiary. That was my plan. Like I think I don't knock a person for getting a plan, because I believe in plans too. You know, but I just also believe in this. Planning is not necessarily really the same for everybody. Mm-hmm. Some people, man, are just good on the fly.
That's me.
Yeah, you know.
I'm good on the fly.
Yeah, like I'm good. I don't necessarily have to have a plan. Like I can go into a situation really and it not be a plan and come out smelling like roses. Because I'm good with, you know, my brain, I tell people all the time, my brain works like a computer, man. You know, I process information quickly, you know. I think I could have been like a quarterback. I think I could have been like a really good quarterback. Because I process information quickly, mm-hmm. and I make great decisions off of the information that I processed.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm the same way. Like, shit, man. I do sort of, I guess you can call it sort of plan out some shit, but for the most part, it's on the fly.
Yeah.
Most part, I don't even have to read a full article about something. Just show me what I need to do, and then from there I can do it. I'm a visual learner. Like I have to see it done. Once I see it done like 2 or 3 times, I can do it. Everything I do is self-taught, like audio, video, editing, clothing. Yeah. All that shit is just come natural. It's came on the fly. So I agree. And that planning shit, man, sometimes you forget your plan. Like step 2 is what? I forgot. Yeah. You know, it's better when you do it on the fly. And then you get better because of experience too. Right. The experience.
I don't want to minimalize or devalue having a plan though.
Like everybody's different.
Right. I just feel like everybody's different. But if you are somebody that's planning, trust me, do your thing, man. Plan.
Just do it though. But some people plan and don't do. Right. You gotta do.
Right. I'm an executor. Like I'm an executor. You know. Like anything I plan or anything I do or have it go, one thing you can be sure about me, I'm gonna execute. You know what I mean? I believe in just coming up with something. Like if I come up with something, as soon as my mind is processing what I'm coming up with, I'm already executing. I'm already figuring out how I'm gonna execute it. Like I'm simultaneously, as soon as I'm thinking about it, I'm already headed in the direction to execute it.
Putting it in motion.
Right. That's how my mind works.
As you should.
You know, right. You know, I don't sit around and, you know, haggle over things, and I'm extremely decisive. You know, when I set out to do something, I'm definitely gonna do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's how I work. But, you know, everything worked out for me, man. You know what I mean? I ain't have no plan. You know, I got out here, you know, seen what was going on, you know, tried a few things and got in my lane. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, it worked out for me, you know. It's funny, I met a dude, right, on a bus. Mm-hmm. I'm riding a bus one day, mm-hmm. and I met a dude down here. Mm-hmm. And when I get on the bus, he asked me, he said, man, he said, where you from? Small world. He said, where you from? I said, I'm from New York. He said, now I know you from New York. I'm talking about where you from in New York. I said, Brooklyn. He said, I know you from Brooklyn, man. Where you from? Like, tell me where you from in Brooklyn, like your exact neighborhood. I said, I'm from Bedford Stuyvesant. He said, you from over there on Fulton Street, right? Fulton and Clarkson. As soon as he said that, I knew that he knew me. Because he put me right where, you know, I was at.
Underground, yeah.
He said, yeah, you got a lot of brothers, don't you? I said, yeah. He said, you play basketball? I said, yeah. He said, I know you. He said, you don't know me. He said, you probably saw me around there, but we don't know each other, but we seen each other around there. He said, I seen you a bunch of times. I just never met you. And then we met, you know, what's up, man? Yeah, you know, my name is Mike, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, we greeted each other and everything. And he's the bus driver down here. He drives the buses down here. Mm-hmm. So we get to talking and shit, and he said, yeah, man, you know, I've been down in Charlotte for about 10 years. So I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, man, you know, he said, man, I love it down here. So he started telling me, you know, his background on how he got down here and everything. So he told me about a program called House Charlotte. And he said, yo, let me tell you something, man. He said, man, these people gonna give you a house down here. You know what I'm saying? And that shit really intrigued me. You know what I'm saying? The way he said, man, they gonna give you a house. He said, man, I'm telling you, this is not like New York. He said, man, you're gonna be living in a house. He said, all you need to do is what I'm about to tell you to do right now. He said, go down there. They're gonna charge you $60. You're gonna have to take a class. When you finish that class, they're gonna be done did everything for you in that class to get you approved for a house. I'm tripping. You know, this shit is like music to my ears.
Yeah.
Hearing this shit, so I can't wait to get down there.
Yeah. So
I goes down there. Everything he said, it was everything he said. I paid the $60. I take the class. After the class, they gave me this thing. It's like a voucher. You take it to the lender, and the lender gonna give you $10,000. No, they gonna give you the lender gonna approve you. Once you get approved, they gonna give you $10,000, a $10,000 grant as a down payment on the house. Yeah, that's exactly how that happened. That's how I got this house.
Wow.
Yeah. The only thing though is you can only get the house in certain neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? So you know, out of all the neighborhoods I went to, this was like the only house that I felt. You know, it wasn't the only one, but you know, the other one
that you wanted.
The other one was brand spanking new. I just didn't like the neighborhood, but the house was brand new.
Yeah.
This house was used, but the neighborhood was better. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I picked this house.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It was like meant to be.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how things come full circle? A dude from your neighborhood in Brooklyn taught you how to get a house.
You see what I mean?
That shit crazy.
That shit was crazy, man. But that's how God worked, though, man.
Yeah.
You know, God put him, and guess what? I ain't seen that dude since. Like, we never exchanged numbers and that. You know what I'm saying? We just used to talk on the bus. We never exchanged numbers. And when I moved from that side of town, I ain't seen that dude since.
What?
Yeah, I ain't seen him since, man. You know, and that's crazy. I wish I could have got his number if K stayed in contact with him, you know.
Yeah.
But he gave me some good game. He gave me a hell of a lick, man. You know, he put me on to some good game, man, you know.
Now you about to be on to your second house.
Right.
This house is part of your business now.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, and I did all this really without a plan. Like, I didn't plan none of this. You know what I mean? All this stuff happened by chance. I'm talking to my cousin. She tell me she lived down here. She wanted me to come visit her. You know, she know me. You know, she know my history in New York. You know what I mean? So she felt like, yeah, you know, you need to get out of New York. You know what I'm saying? Better environment, you know. Mm-hmm. So I come down here, man, and this, I ain't never looked back. You know, this shit been all right for me down here. You know.
I just want to congratulate you, Mike, on
thanks, man.
Being a successful business owner.
Yeah.
You know, about to be a double homeowner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, you about to have rental properties, like
all
of that, and you just came home 12 years ago.
Yeah, man. You know, I appreciate that, Shaq.
For real,
you know what I'm saying? And
I met Mike 2009, 2010.
Right.
I was 16.
I was fresh out.
Fresh out.
Yeah, I was fresh out when I met you.
Fresh out, but you know, you always had the same energy. And you always were the same guy, man. So, you know, when it came to interviewing somebody for this series, Mike was definitely the first person I thought of, man.
Yeah,
like,
I appreciate you, man.
You know, and I salute you, man, and I really appreciate you telling your story, man.
Yeah, thanks, Shaq. Yeah, man. You know, I want to salute you too, man. You know, for just jumping out there doing this, man, because, you know, you're gonna be successful with this, man. I really see that. I really see that in your future. You're gonna be successful with this. You know, just hang in there, man. You know what I mean? Don't give up on your dreams or your passion. Something you passionate about and you feel it. Like I told you, I felt that moving thing. You feel this, stay with it, man. You know, it comes naturally to you. You know, you are natural with this. You know, it's not a lot of people that's naturals with things. So when you are natural with something, yeah, roll with that. Go with that. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people, they not really naturals with things. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not a natural with a lot of things. But I know what I'm a natural with, and I go with that. You know what I mean? So it's important to know that you're natural with this.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? This is you, man. You know what I mean? You know, you're going to do well with this, man. I wish you a lot of success, man. You know, take this as far as you can take it, man, for real.
I will.
You know, and think about what I was telling you, man. You know, think about what I was telling you about going outside the box with interviewing certain type of people. You know what I mean? You know, because there's people that people want to kind of know about, but nobody's interviewing these people. You know what I mean? You know, I watch a lot of podcasts, man, and I be wondering, you know, about certain types of people, man, but nobody interviews these people. You know, interview. You know, think outside the box of who to interview. You know what I mean? You know, yeah, but you're gonna be all right, man. You're gonna be all right, man. You know, you're gonna be all right with this, man. I like this.
Thank you.
You know,
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure, man. Tell the people, cause you got a moving business in Charlotte, man. Tell the people where they can come.
Consider it done, movers, man. You know, when you call us, you can just consider it done. You know, consider it done, movers. You know, at gmail.com. You know, I'm well known down here. You know, come to Charlotte, look me up, man. You know somebody moving here. You know, I come get them. You know, I do local and long distance move. You know, somebody that's interested in moving to Charlotte, man, holla at me. You know, I come get them and set them up down here. You know, we affordable. You know, we ain't trying to rob nobody. You know what I'm saying? We you know, our prices is you know, comparable to any company down here. You know, we're gonna do a good job. You can consider it done.
Right.
You know, yeah. Yeah, man.
Your contact information.
Yeah, you know, you can contact me at 980-213-5498, 917-474-9909. You know, we'll set you right up. It's called, you know, set up a free, we do free estimates, you know, set up an appointment. We'll come out there, see what you got. You know, we give you a fair quote. You know, like I said, we do local, long distance. You know, whatever kind of move. You know, we do a variety of things. You know, we don't just do moving. You know, you got something. You need a piano delivered, a pool table. You know, we kind of versatile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever your situation may be. You know, if you just need labor, if you got your own truck and you just need 3 dudes to come over there and unload your truck or load your truck, holler at me. You know, we kind of versatile. We do it all. We do a little bit of everything, you know. So, you know, give me a call. Work something out.
Shop with Mike, man, for real.
Yeah.
He's gonna get it done for sure. And don't try to lowball this man because this man will fuck you up, all right? No, I'm just messing around, but thanks again.
Yeah,
Mike.
man. Hey, Shaq, man. Appreciate you, man.
For sure, man.
I got
I
to get one of
enjoyed
the
it.
shirts, too, man.
For sure, man. I got
Gotta
you,
get
man.
that
I got
shirt,
the
man.
size.
Yeah, what size you got?
This a medium. I got this a medium right here.
Okay,
I
yeah.
got small through 2XL.
Okay, yeah.
You might need a 2X. You
I'm
a
going to
big
get one
guy.
of them 2X's off you, man. You know, I'm going to get one of them 2X's off you. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I got you.
All right.
Yeah, but Muddy Waters Podcast, Underworld Series, Part 2, Episode 5. This is the last episode in the series, man. And I just want to say I appreciate all y'all, you know, who's watched every episode. And like I said in the first one, in the beginning, if you haven't watched the first episode, start there, man, and come back to this one, man. You know, definitely. But Muddy Waters, we out.
Peace.